Okay, guys, Adam Trigger here on the clock Thursday. This is about the time, right in that like noon Eastern window that I'm going to get this up on a daily basis. We are getting away from the daytime college basketball. Unfortunately, it's my favorite. I wish we had day games every day, but after this week, you won't see many, afternoon games on the schedule as teams get into conference play. So for the weekends, it'll be up earlier, but weekdays, probably right around this noon to 1 p.m. time slot. I'll get it up every day. Not talking any of the day games today. So plenty of time for you to get your bets in. And if you played along yesterday, it looked like we had a full sweep, and Butler sold our parlay of the day within a 22 to 1 run in the other direction to close the game. One of the worst collapses I've seen all season. But other than that, everything else hit yesterday. So a sweep on the plays we talked about. Parlay of the day still remains cold, but I've got one that I think is going to win today. So I've got 4 plays in total to talk about today and a marquee matchup, but one of them I'm going to talk about a total in. So Illinois, Oregon is probably the biggest game today. But we are going to save that for total of the day. And so I'm going to make the marquee matchup Memphis and Florida Atlantic. When my buzzer goes off, it means it's time to move on. 90 seconds on the clock, and we've got Memphis heading to Boca Raton. Conference play getting underway to take on Florida Atlantic. And, the first thing we have to bring up is Memphis's struggles on the road as a favorite. During the Penny Hardaway era, they have a losing record on the road against the spread. And, coming off of a massive win over Ole Miss, it sort of makes me feel like Florida Atlantic is the spot right here, right? I think I read earlier 15-20 against the spread as a favorite for Penny Hardaway during his time in Memphis. And, even though Dusty Mays moved on, and this might not be a Florida Atlantic team that's going to contend for a Final Four like they did or get to the Final Four like they did a couple of years ago, or be in the top 25. I still think they're a pretty solid team. In the context of the American, I think they're a contender. They went out and played a competitive non-conference schedule: Central Florida, Charleston, Liberty, Oklahoma State, Drake, Seton Hall, and Michigan State. So they're battle tested enough, and we know the Borough in Boca Raton sells out pretty much every game. Only seats about 3,000, and it's a sellout every game. So you're going to get the hot crowd for this game tonight in Boca Raton. The number is surprisingly short. If this was higher, if this was like 6.5, I would be all over Florida Atlantic here. And it makes me think Memphis might take some money at some point today. At 3.5, it's just a lean for me. I think you're going to get a huge effort from Florida Atlantic. They haven't played since December 21st. They're fully healthy, well rested. I think they give Memphis all they can handle, and I wouldn't be surprised if they pull the upset. So Florida Atlantic will be our marquee play of the day, and that'll bring us to what really is the marquee matchup of the day out in the Big Ten, the only battle on the schedule today between 2 ranked teams, and that's Illinois, Oregon State. National TV, 10 p.m. Eastern time, Fox Sports 1. And this is a Big Ten game. Remember, this is a conference game now in the Big Ten. 90 seconds on the clock, and this is a big total here. So we've done well with total of the day. I've said it a million times. I'm not really a totals handicapper. I rarely play them, but they've been running okay on the show. So we'll keep the total of the day segment. What I think you have here is 2 teams that are quality on both ends of the floor. But because of that, and because both are so good defensively, 156 is going to take an awfully efficient performance out of both teams, in my opinion, to get to 156. Oregon can go zone. They can force Illinois to shoot a little bit in what really is a tough road game. Should be a fantastic environment. So I think Illinois is going to have to shoot a high percentage on the road against a very good Oregon defense to put this one over. And I just don't know that that's going to be the case. I also think Illinois has the ability to defend Oregon. And this kind of feels like, maybe a little bit of a tense effort. It's not November and January, or not November and December anymore. where you're playing teams that are inferior. This is conference play. It's a big game. This has the feel of a game that could kind of come down to the wire. So because of that, and because I think you would have to, you would need both teams to turn in a seriously good offensive performance for both to get to 80 against the other team's defense, which is very good. I've got to lean toward the under. So under 156 will be our total of the day. All right, let's go to the poll play. I threw up a poll for the Big South, and the one that won the poll was the one I expected to win the poll, and that's Radford and High Point. So conference play starting down in the Big South today. High Point, the odds-on favorite to win this league coming into the season. They still might, but they're probably going to be favored. I was reading this the other day. More than likely favored in every single conference game this year, High Point. But I got to be honest. I was at High Point a couple weeks ago. I've watched this team a ton. Something's lacking with this team. And even though they're probably the rightful contender in this, or the rightful top pick in this league, I think they're going to struggle against the spread, in conference play, laying big numbers. Norfolk State from the MEAC, which profiles as a team, the caliber of team that they're going to face in this league, outscored them in the paint 40-8 the other day. Just destroyed them in the paint. And Radford's got some players that, can make tough shots, get into the lane, make tough shots. They're a good rebounding team. Radford 60th nationally in rebounding, maybe some second chance points. High Point has slowed their tempo considerably from last year to this year. You've got to think that might have to do with Duke Miles no longer being with the team. Radford likes to play slow, but it's been hard to bet totals in High Point games because every single one is a foul fest. Last time out, we had the High Point total for total of the day, and there was 56 foul shots in the game. And the North Texas game had 50-plus foul shots in the game, which makes it really difficult to back an under. So what I'll do here is I'll look toward Radford plus the points. I don't think High Point is going to cover many of these big numbers, especially against the better teams in this league. Radford can hang around. Just feels like High Point is very three-point reliant, missing something without Miles. So let's go Highlanders plus the points. I think that ends up being a pretty good game. And that brings us to the boots on the ground, and we're going to head to Boston, Massachusetts, the Matthews Arena for CAA play opening up between Delaware and Northeastern. The oldest arena in the oldest multi-purpose arena in active, oldest active in use multi-purpose arena in the world. Matthews Arena opened in 1910. It's where the hockey team plays, and I got a chance to go there last year. I've actually been there a couple times, but went last year. It's still very old. The hallway looks like a theater that was built in the late 1800s, early 1900s. I heard that they might knock this place down soon, which is sad, but probably warranted. It's such an old building, but really cool atmosphere, and a really cool building. Not always the best atmosphere for basketball, great atmosphere for hockey. But as far as this game is concerned, Delaware is just down. They're a bad. I don't like this Delaware team. I think their defense is terrible. They've been without Allen for a couple of weeks, so they really have like a starting five, not much depth. They're just an inferior team to Northeastern, who closed out conference play with back-to-back losses, but tough losses against teams that are, probably profile as a little bit better for bigger conferences. I was very high on Northeastern coming into the season. I was worried when Jared Turner left the team prior to the season. But now that they're healthy, which means Masai Troutman is back, I have a feeling Northeastern would have won the Princeton game had Masai Troutman still been had he been healthy at that time. You got Troutman, Woods, and King is the trio there. All can get to the rim. They can all score. They're well coached. Bill Cohn's been there forever. They defend enough where I think Northeastern wins this game. So I am not going to give an official pick, if you will, a show pick for the Northeastern Delaware game, because I really don't want to lay 5.5. But what I will do is use Northeastern on the money line for our parlay of the day. So it'll only be 4 picks today, but we have to hit one of these parlays of the day. I cannot believe that we didn't get a 10-1 parlay yesterday with Butler up 13 with like 5 minutes to go. A huge collapse. It ruins parlay of the day, which means we're still on a cold run with these, but I think we've got a winner here. I'm going to pair Northeastern money line with Northern Arizona money line for no reason other than I just was really impressed with what I saw out of Northern Arizona relative to the other Big Sky teams in non-conference play. They actually ended up with the best record of any Big Sky team in non-conference play. I believe 9-4 was the best mark of any Big Sky team. Relative to where they were sort of priced coming into the season, I think there's value. I think the market figured that out, or some groups have figured that out because they keep getting their games keep getting hit overnight. I considered a straight bet at Northern Arizona here, and it was quickly sort of bet out of range to where I wouldn't want to lay those points. So I figured kind of the perfect two legs for the parlay of the day. Two teams that I very much expect to win tonight, Northeastern and Northern Arizona, but I don't really want to lay the points I'm now being asked to lay. So that comes out to about plus 135. And so parlay of the day, Northeastern money line, Northern Arizona money line. We did good on the time today, pretty much right at the buzzer. I've got a 4% college basketball pick up in one of the day games. So if you're watching this early, that's up on my page in one of the early tips. As always, like and subscribe to the WagerTalk YouTube channel, where you'll be able to find this on a daily basis. And you can also find this on my X Twitter page at AdamTriggerWT, where I'll post this and a bunch of content and a bunch of other free information, so on and so forth. Hope everyone has a great day. Cash all your tickets. Let's have another winning day. We'll see you guys tomorrow.